So that's make them a part of your processes and
Absolutely.
training and stuff.
And we're gonna get into that exact stuff right there a bunch more as we go on, because I think that is something we got to come back to. It's all about not just our own positivity, but how can we put that onto other people as we go. But in the meantime, hey Tony, I got a deal for you here.
Got a deal for me?
Yeah, I got a deal.
All right. Gonna make some money today.
Yeah, I got you.
You boys got a deal for me already. All right. What we got? 2012 Civic sedan lease. 0 due at lease signing, 0 security deposit, 0 money down, 0 first month, $220 a month. The front end makes nothing, the back end makes nothing. Good way to get started. Who's making all these? Here's another factory advertised lease special here. Let's see, 0 money down, 0 security deposit, 0 first month payment, $310 a month on an Odyssey. Accord sedan, 0 money down, 0 security deposit, $250 a month. Yeah, I guess finance won't get theirs this month, will they? CRV. All right, going great. I saw this one on Monday Night Football, this commercial myself. 0 money down, 0 security deposit, $320 a month. Peyton did come back in the second half, didn't he?
Yeah.
All right. Pilot, $350 a month. 0 money down, 0 security deposit. You know what's going on. Yeah, this one's on the website, on the Honda website. You can just go on there and just see everything you want to know. Oh, but this is my favorite. On our very own website, the Honda, Risky Was Honda website, we got them all listed. Okay? we got the Civic, the Accord, the Cross Store. You got everything on there. You just go on there, just click, 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 and you know it. How much money down, which is nothing. You know what the first month payment is, which is nothing, and you got all your payments there. Oh, and you got the hybrid, and you got, you know what? You got them all. Is that how we, as finance people, feel when we're ready to do a lease? Jimmy, is that how you feel when you have to pencil a lease and it's a skinny front end and you're worried that your finance guy's not going to pick up anything on the back?
Absolutely.
Guys, how do you feel? Every time you see one of those lease commercials, you kind of cringe a little bit knowing that your products have a less likely chance of being sold? Sure, how about you? You know your dealerships are only going to sell X number of cars. And for how many leases are thrown in there, that's probably less likely of a chance you have for product sales. Well, today we're going to talk about how to make leasing pay. Now, everybody got the email about the idea session, and I guess we all started thinking about what are we going to talk about. And when I got it, I was thinking about what am I going to talk about, and I remembered a conversation that me and Mike Casanelli had in my office probably about a month prior. And we were talking about the different challenges that different dealerships have. And I was telling him, you know, my biggest challenge here is we do a whole lot of used cars. And about half the used cars we do, most people would look at them as being unfinanceable. You know, they're 90-something models, 2000, 01s, 02s, 250,000 miles, 300,000 miles. I mean, we sold 2 campers this year. We've sold probably 5 or 6 motorcycles. I think his favorite is still the scooter. That's your favorite of all time, isn't it?
That was on his log. Yes, that's a fact.
A scooter.
We'll cover that. All the way up to Harley's.
Well, Mike was telling me that he has some dealers that are doing, 10, 15 leases a month or so. Only some F&I people at the dealerships are doing more than that. But those guys are doing 10, 15 leases a month. And I was telling him, really, I don't mind leases that much. In fact, I do fairly well on them. And he told me, well, if that's the case, then you should share with the others on how you do it. So I thought that would be a good topic for today. So we're going to try to make leasing pay. Let me give you all a handout.
Wow, it's got my name on it.
What's yours say, Jay? That doesn't look like your name.
Thank you, sir.
Guys, we're going to talk about how to make leasing pay. And the first thing we're going to do is talk about the pros and the cons, okay? And we're going to start off looking at the cons. These are all the challenges that we face doing a lease every day, okay? Nearly every lease we do is a factory advertised lease special. Well, those have no rate markup. So there goes our rate. The customers already know the payments. Well, when they come in, they know the down payment, they know the payment, they know the term. Hey, if you even read that little paragraph on the bottom of this stuff, you even know what your money factor is. Gap insurance. Just about every lease company that I know, you can't add gap to it. It's already on it for free. You can't add gap. Nearly every lease is on short terms, be it 30 months, 36, 39. You know what's harder than a 48-month lease?
Probably 36-month lease.
A 39-month lease. You know what's harder than a 39-month lease? A 36-month lease. You know what's harder than that? A 30-month lease. And you know why? For two reasons, really. One is because the shorter the term, the more payment hike it is when you add product to it. So just a small product will add quite a bit to your payment. And two, there's no exposure on a lease. And what I mean by that is, it's pretty hard to sell a warranty because the car comes with a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're doing a 3-year, 36,000-mile lease. There's no exposure there. The customer is not dealing with any anything to have to worry about unless he buys it at the end, right? Well, how can I possibly sell anything on this lease? How can I possibly make any money other than the flat? If you have a bad attitude and you know you can't sell product, then congratulations, you've just convinced yourself that now you do have a flat. No rate, no gap, no warranty. What am I going to do? It looks like another glorified cash deal with a lot of extra paperwork. Now let's look at the pros, okay? Now most automakers have some sort of rate specials, okay? Now at Hondaland, we have 0.9 and 1.9 on every new car we have, 2012 models, okay? That 1.9 is even on 72 months on some of them. And the credit unions, we have a lot of credit unions in Knoxville, and they are very aggressive right now. Their rates are downright stupid at times. So, you know, it's been in the last few years that we're making less and less money off a rate. And the money we make on product sales are going up and up. So we're trying to make less money on rate because really, in very few cases, we're even getting opportunity. But we're trying to make it up in product. Would everybody agree with that? So rate is becoming less and less of an issue. We do a lot of deals where customers already know the payments anyway, right? I mean, we see these advertised lease specials. Well, there's a lot of specials on the radio, on the newspaper, on TV, that they give you the payment based on a purchase. We do at my store. And how many times is it that the sales manager or somebody involved with the deal had to give the payment on the floor anyway? And really, if you're doing your job correctly, in the first 3 or 4 minutes he's in your office, you're going to give him the base payment anyway. So if he knows the payment off the radio, off the TV, in the showroom, or if we're the ones who give it to him, they know the base payment 3 minutes after we meet him. So what's the difference there? Most people are going to keep the lease term, are going to keep the lease and the car the same term. Okay? So if it's a 36-month lease, usually people are going to keep the car 36 months. Well, at my store, we have a 36-month maintenance plan. I'm sure a lot of you do as well. Well, 36-month lease, 36-month maintenance plan, they go pretty well hand in hand. Now, most customers realize that acid rain, trees, birds, they don't know the difference between a lease car and a purchase car. Okay? Would you agree with that? So what I'm saying is, you have a parking lot with 10 cars in it. 3 of them are lease cars. 7 cars, the customer either bought the car or they're paying on it on a purchase plan. Now, when an acid rain storm comes, are only those other 7 cars going to be in trouble? Or are all of them going to have an equal chance? Okay, let me ask you this. If you park your car under a tree, if you lease the car, do you not have to worry about the birds or the insects or the tree sap? It doesn't matter. Now, Mike, let me ask you. You have a 3-year-old kid in the back seat of an Odyssey van drinking Kool-Aid. Do they have just as likely of a chance to spill it everywhere if it's a lease car or if it's a purchase car either way?
You don't care.
They don't care. Interesting. And what about tire and wheel? If you're driving down the road and there's a giant pothole in front of you, does the pothole move out of the way if they know it's a lease car?
Some people may think that.
Now, if there's a bag of nails in the construction truck in front of you and it falls, Scott, let me ask you, if it's a lease car, do you have nothing to worry about? Are those nails
I could
just
only
going to...
wish.
You mean you still have
Absolutely.
just as likely of a chance to get a flat tire on a lease car as you do a purchase car?
Absolutely.
Interesting. So, instead of no rate, no warranty, no gap, what am I going to do? It should be, wait. I still have at least 3 great products to discuss. The maintenance plan, the tire and wheel coverage, and ECP. Now at your store, you may have a couple others. You may have Simonize, you may have key replacement, you may have some other stuff like that. But more than likely, you all have these 3 products I'm talking about. So, to make leasing pay. Now we're going to look at the why and we're going to look at the how. And we're going to put together a plan of attack for these leases, okay? Now we're going to talk about the interview, the menu, the word tracks, the selling skills. The things that we do to prepare for a lease are the same things that we prepare for a regular installment loan. First and foremost, we need to keep a good positive attitude. We need to prepare in the same way for a lease as we do a finance deal. And that includes the interview, the menu, word tracks, and selling skills. On an interview, if you do an interview on the showroom floor, why don't you do it on a lease? If you do it with the customer sitting in front of you, why wouldn't you do the same thing on a lease as you do on a regular installment loan? I mean, you still have to know how the car's titled. You still have to make sure the address is right. You still have to make sure that all the stuff is right on the deal sheet before you get started. Well, why not throw in a couple of those factory survey questions we talked about? The menu. We're going to talk about the menu in depth in just a second. Word tracks. We all work on these word tracks every day, don't we? When you go over your menu, does it basically sound the same every time? Do you work on it? You've done it 1,000 times, right? Then what's any difference with the lease? And the selling skills. We talk about objections month in and month out. You get 2 F&I guys in the room, they're going to talk about objections and how to handle those objections. Well, you know what? I don't need any more objection handling. Okay? I need to work on the ones I have. And most of you are probably the same way. You know them all, basically. Do we ever work on them? You know, everybody wants to change the world, but nobody wants to change. Is that what you said?
Exactly.
So everybody wants to improve, but nobody wants to work on it. You know, Mark Trout, my good friend, he's a runner and a bicycler, and he goes to the gym all the time, pumping iron, lifting weights. Now, everybody wants to get big, but nobody wants to lift no heavy weight.
Want to push no heavy weight.
Everybody wants to get better, but nobody wants to work at it. That's what we need to do. We need to work at it. When we work at it, Mark was just in a, what's it called?
Duathlon.
Yes. He wanted to do it and he did. Now, Chris was telling me yesterday he wanted to play collegiate football, and he did. Jimmy was telling me he had a goal of selling 200 cars, and he did. 212. You wanted to do exactly what you do now.
That's right.
And you do. Guys, we're going to look at the menu now, okay? Now, the first thing you're going to see about this menu is I broke it down in 4 columns. Maybe on yours you use 3. I've always liked 4. The second thing you're going to notice right off the bat, instead of 2 terms, maybe 60 and 72, maybe 48 and 60, we're only going to use 1 term at the bottom. The special is set up on 36 months, so mine is set up on 36 months. Maybe if you have a 39-month lease or a 30-month lease or whatever you have, that's how you want to set yours up, okay? Now, we have 5 products in my store, but one of them is gap insurance and one of them we can't use here. So I set it up 4, 3, 2, 1. Usually, on a regular installment loan, it's a little bit more aggressive than this, but with only 4 products, this is the way I like to set it up. Now, you're going to notice that these prices are a little on the modest side. You do have to be very careful pricing your products on lease. You want to get the sale, but usually this is not one that you can really inflate the price on. Now, during your customer interview, you know what product to put where. And from that, you know if you want to have tire and wheel coming all the way out, or ECP coming all the way out, or maybe the maintenance coming all the way out. But those are the things that you learn from the customer interview the same way on a lease as you do on a regular installment loan, okay? Now, warranty on mine is the first one to go, okay? Sorry, Jay. But it's the first one to go because it is going to be the hardest to sell, okay? Now, that's going to leave us with 3 great products on the value plan, or whatever you call yours in the second column. Here I do have the maintenance, the tire and wheel, and the protector. From there I have 2, then 1. And again, it depends on your customer menu, whichever products you like better, and whichever you think the customer is going to be more responsive on. Now, the next section is called Proof Positive. Now, I was very reluctant to share with you my lease numbers in this part. I didn't want to make it sound somewhat egotistical. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought I need to. When you're doing a presentation, you need to show your data to explain your results. If I was doing a scientific experiment, you would want to see the data to believe what I told you happened in the experiment. Well, back in January, these numbers are all based on January 1st to September 30th, the last full month we've had. Now, during that time, I did 46 leases and sold 60 products for 130%. Now, believe me when I tell you, back in January, February, March, earlier on in the year, I had no idea I was going to be talking to you about leases now. Nor did I even know what these numbers would be if I broke them out and looked at only leases, because I never even, there was a category I never looked at before. But when me and Casanelli were talking that day, I knew they had to be somewhat good, but I didn't know exactly what they were. So after that, I broke them down and looked at just leases. 44 out of 46 leases this year that I've done have been national lease specials. So the people coming into the office knew the term, the payment. They knew everything about the lease. Now, Sherry has told me before that on that menu, 10% of the customers buy the first column. I don't really believe that that's true. I think it's a little less than that. But 3 out of 46 for 7% bought warranty. Now, Jay, I'm sorry, it was only 3. But I guarantee you, without the menu, it would have been 0. Maintenance contracts, 13 out of 46 for 28%. So almost 1 in 3 added maintenance to their lease. 16 out of 46 added ECP for 35%.
Oh, yeah.
And now that we have ECP Plus at my store, I guarantee you that number is going to be going up. There's no doubt. That ECP is perfect. The ECP Plus is perfect for a lease.
We offer it as like a wear and tear policy on leases, because it covers the dings and dents and the chips and cracks and so forth. So that's
Perfect on the lease. Tire and wheel, 28 out of 46 for 61%.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
So
That's what all they do.
nearly
You
2
buy lunch.
out of 3 people added tire and wheel. Now usually tire and wheel is the product that I have coming all the way out usually. Usually that's about my favorite. 2 out of 3 people almost took tire and wheel. 31 out of 46 purchased at least one product. That is 67%. 2 out of 3 people bought at least one item. Okay? And over 35% bought 2 or more products. Okay? 67% bought at least one, and 35% bought at least 2. Now that I have looked at these numbers myself after a month ago, my new goal is 1.5. Okay? And I think that that's going to be easy obtainable, since before it was 130, and I didn't even know that that category existed. Now that I'm aware of it, I guarantee you 1.5 is going to be easy obtainable. Now, most of all of you in here know my wife. She has never sold a product on a lease in her life until after she heard this presentation. And she sold maintenance and ECP the very next day. Jason has done 4 leases since he heard my presentation a week and a half ago. On those 4, 2 of them were the next day. On those 4, he sold 7 products out of 4. Is that right?
Correct. 7
products out of 4. What were you doing before?
I was just trying to get them in as quick as possible.
Okay. So,
Just to be quite honest with you.
so Sherry said earlier before we started that we're the best of the best. That's why we're all here today. Guys, we can do this. We can do this on the lease the same way as we do with regular installment deals. Like she said, we're the best of the best. This is like Marymount. This is Top Gun. And we're all a bunch of Tom Cruises in here. Okay? Well, I mean, not you, Ken. You're more like Goose. But all right, I'm Tom Cruise, you're Goose, okay? But
Wait a minute, whose side's in the movie?
now, guys, I have 2 challenges, okay? The first one is for Jamie, our only GM in here right now. I want you to go back to your finance man and show him what we talked about. You work with him and you help him, and you talk to him about what we've talked about. And the next time that you have that skinny deal that you need to take on a lease, you're not going to be worried about picking up any back-end product. And 2, the other challenge for all the F&I people. Go back to your store this week and load a lease in your menu. Now put in there the real amounts that you're going to sell it for, the real amounts that you're going to sell the products for. Put in the right residuals, the right money factors, make it look like a real lease. Okay? And then practice on it. Say it to yourself, in your office, driving down the road, say it at home to your wife, whatever you want to do. But work on it. Okay? And then, when you sit in front of the customer for the first time, win, lose, draw, kick ass, sell them everything or sell them nothing, I guarantee you, you're going to feel more comfortable in front of that customer after doing it. And then the next time, you're going to feel more comfortable out of that. And then the third time, you're going to feel more comfortable yet. And it's going to be a regular thing that you do every time. And guys, I promise you, I guarantee you, you're going to like the results a whole lot more than you like those goose eggs on your lease lock now. Thank you.
Wow, great presentation, Tony. You know what I want to do? I want to pack